There was a period of time when testing was originally presented as a way to improve our ability to teach, because we could get feedback from the testing process and then improve our ability to reach the students, reteach the things that didn't work well. And that was the original concept. Then it made sense to teachers who were committed to the concept of doing a better job. But the long-term effect has been that it has been a repetitive, crushing, demoralizing, and in many cases absolutely obnoxious experience, and they're sick and tired of it.
We're testing more and teaching less.
A lot of the professional development is geared towards teaching the test.
They are taught to take a test instead of being taught what skills that they need.
Our attention is more and more on the instrument and not on the child.
But it's the stressful environment that we've created, and we're robbing them of their childhood. We're robbing them of their passion for learning.
My daughter's 9 years old, and she pretty much thinks it's absurd.
They look at a test as a way of showing what they can't do rather than what they can do.
We've looked at the kinds of questions that get asked on the English portions of the test, and they're so inferior to the kinds of questions and thinking that we want the kids to do.
I've had students come up to me crying and telling me, or asking me actually, am I stupid? Does this mean I'm stupid? Does this mean I'm not going to graduate high school? What does it mean if I got this score? And to me as a teacher, as someone who signed on to be an educator and to counsel these kids, it's heartbreaking.
I mean, they affect all the kids, but I think they're especially hard and demoralizing for kids with learning disabilities who just come back from the tests feeling crushed.
I think there's a real fear that this one-size-fits-all model of education is going to really take away a lot of teacher autonomy.
I haven't been able to make the decisions or have the autonomy that I need to make decisions on behalf of my students.
Teachers also really describe a sense of deep outrage about the disrespect of being put in a situation where it's their job to constantly prove that they're doing a good job.
The more standardization you have, the less ability you have to work with students to grow.
Day in and day out, I feel the tension, the exhaustion, the inability teachers feel to do the relationship building that they are committed to with their students. And it's because testing has displaced the one-on-one kind of relationship that's singular. It's unique to each child. That's what they want, and that's what causes them the deepest pain when they're not allowed to do this.
And everybody's beat. Nobody wants to work anymore. You're talking about teachers who've only been teaching 3 years and already talking about leaving. They can't handle it. And teachers who've been there 20 years and they've got 10 years more to go for their retirement are talking about leaving. They'd rather cut their losses than to continue doing what they're doing.
It takes hours and hours for these tests to be completed, and a student may be done and sit there and do absolutely nothing, which to me is a shame. It's a waste of time.
So we have roughly 3 weeks of the kids are not engaged in the curriculum, but they're actually testing.
Out of the 180 days of teaching last year, 27 of my own personal teaching days were devoted to testing of some sort.
Based on what I see at the community college, I think our students are very prepared to take multiple choice tests and fill in bubbles. They are not prepared to think critically.
Well, I would say that the thing that I hear most prominently and most consistently when I talk to teachers across the state is that the things that brought them to public education, the curiosity about their subject, their desire to share that subject with their students, the desire to form relationships within a classroom and within a community in order to teach to the whole child and be a part of creating possibilities for the future, that's been whittled away.
I became a teacher for my students. I didn't become a teacher to help the state improve their test scores. Those test scores do not represent my students. They don't represent their backgrounds. They don't represent their individuality. They don't represent my students in any way.